Rosenberg podcast coming to you live and direct from the lab on a crisp, classic Friday night. That Rihanna Busta Rhymes mix you're hearing in the back is only available on the Squirrel Rosenberg podcast on SoundCloud right now. You can check that out. SQR podcast, SQR radio. I freaked it on that Busta Rhymes with
exclusive.
That exclusive. So, you're hearing a little tidbit from my guest who's going to be blessing this track later on. However, the process I go through here on Squirrel Rosenberg podcast. I always take a moment to big up my viewers, my listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in. Secondly, I want to big up everybody behind the scenes that makes this show the bangingest show out there. So big round of applause for Manny behind the camera. Thank you, Manny, for the energy, you being here. I want to give a big shout out to my wife, Ellie, the sound Nazi holding us down. Bung, bung, bung. Thank you so much. And the guest that's in the house in the Peanut Gallery, guys, thank you so much for being here. I want to give you guys a big round of applause for coming through. But tonight, it's an epic night because I am honored to have Violet Haze in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Violet.
Thank you.
Wow. We're talking about a smorgasbord of talent. It's like I'm taking you to a buffet right now. Not only are we going to go deep like we normally do on the podcast, but my guest has everything to deliver. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you this, and I do this to all my guests. You pulled up to the building outside.
Yes.
What were your thoughts?
I actually had been here before.
Okay,
believe it or not. Yeah,
okay.
Not inside, this floor, but I've recorded here. But I actually had driven past before. So I was a little bit familiar, but finding the elevator, that was hard.
Clutch. Normally we have our guests come up the steps and we put them through the ritual and then we ask them what it's like to come to Mount Everest. But once you open the doors and you walk into the studio, what were your thoughts?
Wow.
Let's
a lot of Heineken.
Yeah, let's toast to Heineken.
A lot of Heineken with my water here, right?
Yeah, with the Poland Springs, because they're going to be our biggest sponsors on the show very, very soon. The best beer to ever brew, especially now that we're in the studio and checking the thermostat today. It actually said the temperature was 92 degrees. Straight Montego Bay flavor right now.
Ridiculous. I'm smoking.
Yeah, exactly. So let's jump into this real quickly because I'm very curious for my guests to realize who you are, what you do, and all the things you bring to the table.
Okay.
So, Violet Haze, what do you do?
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yes. I am a singer, songwriter, an artist, right? One of many trades. I grew up singing more jazz, and I did some Broadway. And then I decided I wanted to go to school for music. So then I decided, okay, let me try out for Juilliard and Manhattan School, which were now all classical music schools. So I had to learn opera. I fell in love with it, and I studied opera in college for 4 years. I toured all around the world. I played with Berlin Philharmonic, Vienna Philharmonic, Vienna, Austria, all of them. Beethoven's Ninth, we performed in Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, everywhere. Played Carmen, so I did a little bit of that. And then after college, it was time for me to write my own music, and I was going through a lot at the time as well. So I said, okay, I can't write my music and put it into an opera score, so how am I going to do that? So it had to be something authentic for me, where I could really get my thoughts and my emotions onto paper, and I found that doing that was best approached through hip-hop and R&B, because that's where my heart is right now.
Oh, okay, all right, wow. Wow, how do I handle this one? How do I chop this up? Where do I start? I've never been, this is big, because here's what I'm hearing. Someone who is extremely exposed, somebody who's also very driven. And I want to go back to the beginning.
Okay.
What was the family makeup like? Where are you guys from originally?
I'm from Wayne.
Big shout out to Wayne, New Jersey.
Yeah, Wayne, New Jersey.
That's
right here.
Right around the corner from us here in Madison, yeah?
So I'm from Wayne. It's really just been my mom and I. That's my best friend.
What's your
my
mom's
mentor,
name?
Sandy.
Big shout out to Sandy.
Yes, Sandy.
Big shout out to Sandy.
Yes, the MVP for real. She supported me my whole life, no matter what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to dance, act, sing, play the flute, which was my first instrument. I was very upset because I realized, oh my goodness, I can't sing and play the flute. What am I going to do? So then I learned the piano. So yeah, she's been and supportive always.
I got to tell you this, Violet. When you speak on Squirrel Rosenberg podcast and you say something profound, we call it dropping a jewel. You just dropped a jewel in a very funny manner, and the jewel is you can't sing and play the flute at the same time.
Yes, you cannot.
So that's
that is impossible.
There's a jewel right there. And if you can do that, let me know. Holla at your boy. I'll put you on my show, and I want to see that.
I want to see it too.
But let me ask you this: only child?
Only child. Yes.
So mom, and
she's everything: mother, father, mentor, best friend, everything.
So it seems as if do you know the first time, because your whole makeup seems to be very influenced by music.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find out what was it or when was it you were transitioning to that lane?
She has said ever since I was a baby and I would cry, she would put music on in my crib and I would just stop. It was like magic ever since I was, and from then I didn't understand anything, so it was just a natural reaction. Yeah, I would be singing like nursery rhymes that I'd hear at 2 years old on Barney, like on the TV.
Yeah.
I just always loved music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember, or did she tell you what song she would be playing to put you to sleep, or?
No, I think she just played me a variety, and I think that's why I have such a vast genre and such a vast, I love opera, I love Broadway, I love rap, I love pop, I love, songs from Australia and Germany and things that aren't even in this language. It's like I have such a wide variety of music, and I think that's because of her and her playing me all different sorts of
That's big.
things.
I want to even take this moment right now. And mom's name is Sandy, correct? Mm-hmm. We want to big up Sandy because I don't know if she was purposely realizing the conscious or subconscious impact she was having on you at that time, So big her up for being so influential.
She's the best. Yeah.
I wanted to also, as you're transitioning, growing up, what was middle school like? Were you singing, performing like that?
You know what's really funny about this? So my 6th grade year in middle school, as well as my 9th grade year in high school, so my first 2 years in both different schools, I decided I'm not going to do music. Why? I don't know. But my 6th grade year, I did cycles. So I learned how to sew, cook, all that.
Right.
And then 9th grade, I decided, let me try computers. Well, both years I decided I was absolutely miserable. So
because the passion
was missing. So then 7th grade and sophomore year, we were back in it.
Do you remember the first time you performed in front of a...
I do remember the first time I performed. I was in middle school. It was a recital. I was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. My feet got so incredibly sweaty, being so scared. I got out of my seat and I went to walk up the stairs and I slipped. Yep, I slipped. That was my first experience.
Oh my God.
But guess what? I still performed.
Got up.
Yep, I still performed anyway.
What was this song again?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Bomb. We're going to hear it right now on Squirrel Rosenberg podcast. Give me a small rendition of that.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Yeah.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
Angelic.
Thank you
so much. Oh my God. We are about to rip the frame off this podcast tonight because you just heard the opera version. We're going to come back with more of that. I've never been this wired. Squirrel Rosenberg podcast. We're going to take a quick break, come back, jump into what it's like going into high school, transitioning to college, and finding that lane and securing that lane because you definitely got it locked. Squirrel Rosenberg podcast, Violet Haze. We're back after these breaks. One. Score Rosenberg podcast coming in with this classic remix.
That's hot.
Yes, right? Yeah, that's what I said when I made it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just going to be coming up a little bit later. Right now it's available on our SoundCloud. I'm letting all you DJs and producers out there. If you sample that, make sure you come see your boy. Score Rosenberg podcast, Score Rosenberg Radio, Madison, New Jersey. You know where we at. However, please feel free to use that and blast off. Let's jump back into this wonderful powwow we're having with my guest, Violet Haze.
Yes.
And we want to get into that name a little bit later.
Okay.
All right. However, so now, not only did you bless us with that angelic flow, when we came out of the first break, and we understood that it's a ride and die relationship with you and your mom.
Yeah.
All the way to the tilt.
All the way.
Mom supporting you 100%.
Yeah, we fight hard, we love hard.
Big.
Yeah.
Score Rosenberg Radio. She just dropped another jewel. Say that again.
We fight hard, we love hard.
Bong. Yeah, that's so big. So as we get ready to marinate, let me do this. Your first performance, the faux pas with you slipping.
Yeah.
You get back up, you go up, and you knock it out the park.
Knock it out the park, yeah. Everyone was applauding. I think it was partly they felt sorry for me, and partly because hopefully I did a nice job.
I think you blew it. I think you impressed.
I hope so.
So what was the transition like? Were you, because I'm really curious about the high school relationship with your friends, that support system. Were you accepted? Were you ostracized? What was that like?
High school was awesome because I had a lot of friends in different places. So I did choir, I did theater, I did theater arts, so that was like my music side. But then freshman year, I fiddled with tennis a little bit and lacrosse, and I did sporty things like outside of school too. I did dance. I did, more singing Broadway clubs. So I had friends kind of all over the place, and usually we had that one thing in common, which was our love of music.
Big. I'm impressed by the how well-rounded you are and well-exposed. As you were going through this period, was there anyone, and I'm trying to be specific about the period, and the period meaning through middle school and high school, was there anyone, whether a friend, family member, or complete stranger, that said something or showed you something that was profound, that was, I'm going to copy that or implement that?
I just remember being influenced so much by Whitney Houston. That's like the one thing I can remember hearing. I remember I heard her song, I Have Nothing. And at that point, I was like learning how to belt Broadway.
Yeah.
And that whole song is just, straight power belting. So that was the thing that I heard. And I said, what is that? And I listened to her whole album. I watched The Bodyguard. I went like Whitney Houston overload. Freshman year, I wrote this whole "Who am I? Who's my hero?" speech. It was about her. She was probably the most influential artist on me.
Yo, big shout out to Whitney Houston and R.I.P. I mean, at the end of the day,
rest in peace.
A lot of these artists are out here and they don't understand the impact their words or their life have
their voice.
Their voice.
The timbre of her voice, just so different and beautiful.
Wow. So here you are. And when we mentioned the different talents you bring to the world, we spoke about the singer, dancer, choreographer. We touched on a teacher. And that kind of rang a bell with me because teachers, and I have to salute because my mom has been a teacher for many, 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 many moons.
Of what? What does she teach?
Her forte was actually English and math.
Okay.
And there was a story that I shared on my podcast because my mom was the principal, the math teacher, and the English teacher at the school I went to.
Okay.
So you realize that I either had to be extremely smart or I got it every day.
Right.
But my point is this. As you look back and you're looking at your transition through that, what propelled you to become a teacher?
Honestly, once again, my mother. Because I love kids, right? And I have a natural gift for like wanting to share things with people. Like if something good happens to me, I'm going to run to everybody close to me and be like, guess what happened? Oh my God. Like join me, like come on, like let's go, come with me, come see. So like I'm very, like I want to share everything. And music, that's the perfect way.
True.
And I was going to go, like I said, I auditioned at Juilliard, Manhattan School. Those are strictly performing arts schools. And it's hard to make it as an artist. So my mom said, you know what? I believe in you, but I also want you to have a backup plan. So I want you to go for music education. So that's where teaching came from.
And that was your major in college?
Yeah.
Wow. So it actually Wow, your mom, I need to meet her.
Yeah, she's like Gandhi.
I need to meet her
Yeah.
because that was so well said. Because what I love is the fact that she didn't say, okay, go do something completely different
Right.
from where you were. It's a symbiotic relationship
Exactly.
between your passion.
And I
Wow.
love to do both things.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's big.
It's
That's
great.
big. So now you're here and you have really expounded on your talents. That's what it sounded like. Because now you found this lane and now you've developed the dancing. When did that come into the whole and choreography?
That was high school. So we had a bunch of different performances that we would put on. And sometimes we would have to choreograph like the numbers for the choruses. Mostly that came from someone hired, but that's where I learned a lot of it. And then in college, while I was doing my master's degree, I was in charge. I was the director of the musical Juilliard.
Yeah.
And I had to do everything. I had to do stage managing. I had to do dancing. I had to do like stage props. So I had to basically be the jack of all trades for this production.
So here's what I'm more curious about. You have now been exposed, and you did mention Juilliard.
Yeah.
And auditioning there.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that experience?
Yes, I was terrified. First, you need to actually, with some of these bigger schools, you need to send a pre-screening CD. So I had recorded whatever they asked for. I think it was like 3 different songs in 3 different languages. I think I did French, German, and Italian. And those songs they would listen to. And if they liked them, then they would call you for an audition. And if they didn't like it, then you didn't hear back. So once I got past that round, I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe, they hear something. So I went there. I was so scared, but I went in there. I zoned out just like I always do. My first voice teacher told me, picture everyone in their underwear. Or it doesn't. I just laugh.
Yeah.
Or you look at people right here and it actually looks like you're looking in their eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I would do. And I just zoned out. And until, I got comfortable with it, I'm not going to say I was always comfortable right from the beginning. Like I said, my feet, they sweat and fell. But yeah, you get comfortable and you get some confidence. People like your stuff and you say, okay, I'm doing the right thing here. And then, yeah.
I'm not gonna allow you to sneak this by me. The fact that you did 3 songs in 3 different languages.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, anyone who goes to, that's where I went to school, Westminster Choir College.
Big shout out.
Anyone who goes there, we literally sing in every language. Like I've sung in Czech, Polish, Russian, German, everything. Like Swahili, every language under the sun, Latin. We've sung in everything.
Wow.
Yeah. We did Rachmaninoff in Russian, the bells with the Philadelphia Orchestra at Verizon Hall. So we have to sing. There's no choice. We learned the, what is called the IPA, the phonetic alphabet, and that's how you can figure out how it all sounds.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that little secret with us on the podcast. Wow.
Sure.
So I wonder, I'm slowly, when you have like a great meal, you like slowly go through it. That's what this podcast is to me. Because I really want to fast forward to dessert, which is hearing you and hearing the story of the hip hop, but I want to just slow this down a little bit because I want you to be able to express. And before I even ask you this question, could you please let our viewers and our listeners refresh them on where they could hear some of the stuff that you've already blessed us with and that we're going to talk about a little bit later?
So right now, I'm putting together a SoundCloud. I'm also putting together, hopefully, a BMI Spotify. I'm trying.
Let's take the word hopefully out of that.
Hopefully, yeah.
Take the word hopefully
let's
out.
X that out.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yes, we are working on that.
There you go.
Yes.
Positive
so
energy.
Right now, I have all my files. I've been sharing them through email.
Okay.
And through my Gmail that way.
Bon. So as we get ready to rock out on this second break, I would like for you, and I'm asking you on the spot, but I'd like for you to do a little acapella.
Little acapella, okay.
Or, you know what? Let's do this. We're going to save the acapella. Give me something, because I want to show the bandwidth of my guest tonight.
Okay.
So give me something in a different language, opera-ish.
Opera-ish in a different language. Okay, there's a lot to choose from. Let's think.
Anything you want to give me as we sing out on Squirrel Rosenberg podcast, so we take a break right now.
Let's do the Carmen Habanera. Everyone knows that.
Bong.
Okay. Yeah.
Square Rosenberg podcast, Violet Haze. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. 1. Rosenberg
Whitney.
podcast.
My girl Whitney.
Violet Haze.
Share my life, take me for what I am, 'cause I'll never change all my colors for you. Take my love, I'll never ask for too much. Just all that you are and everything that you do. I don't really need to look very much further. I don't wanna have to go where you don't follow. I will hold it back again. This passion inside can't run from myself. There's nowhere to hide.
Bong, bong, bong. Square Rosenberg podcast. Wow, how blessed we are. What just happened?
Whitney.
Basically.
Whitney happened.
The influence.
Yeah, the influence.
Thank you so much for blessing us with that.
You're welcome.
That was official. Wow.
Thank you.
I'm trying to talk my heart back down into it. You had me going there. You had me going there. And what we're going to do for everybody who is listening to this podcast and for everybody who has the privilege to see us on Square Rosenberg TV on our YouTube channel, you're going to see something classic. You've just witnessed something classic. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
We, oh my God, I'm still at a loss for words. That was beautiful. So as we are marinating and growing, and you're finding your lane and you've secured your lane through where you've traveled, the exposure in such a short time.
Right.
Your passion for teaching.
Right.
Enlighten us on Violet Haze.
Violet Haze. Okay.
Yeah. When did that name come into the mix?
Okay. So I like the name Violet Gray. Okay. I don't know why. It just came to me out of nowhere. But then it sounded almost like a spider to me. So I was like, okay, let's not go with Violet Gray. Then I went with Violet Black. I'm like, okay, now I sound like a real spider, like even worse. So that was no go. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What do I like to do? I like to smoke. So Violet Haze. Then I went nuts and I dyed my entire head purple. I have had now black hair for a week. Before this, it was entirely violet. Ooh. So that was the trademark.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, and with that trademark, you're now delivering some R&B, some rap,
hip hop, pop, all that.
Wow. I mean, right now I'm just trying to make sure because we've actually walked our listeners, if you notice, through all the rendition you've done, through all the stuff that
somewhere over the rainbow to
to where we are right now, and when we close. But as we get ready to wrap up this last segment, I wanted to ask, as you get ready to marinate, what are you looking to do within, the next 2 years? What does Violet Haze want to accomplish?
I would love to keep doing what I'm doing, which is taking my life and my current situations and finding a way to express them. And that's what I'm finding through the songs I'm making. And hopefully by putting them out there, people who are listening will have some similarities to the struggles I'm going through. And they'll be able to relate to it and, like it, for the beat and for the music itself, but also be able to relate to the words. Because when I'm writing, I'm not just writing for something that sounds catchy. It's something that I'm really going through, So I hope to continue doing that, continue writing hooks, some verses. And I really want to be, at first, a collab artist. I love to learn. That's the teacher in me.
Yeah, but everybody tend to want to run from collaborating.
Yeah, see, I love it. I love it because I love to learn. I'm a teacher. I'm learning from people. As I'm working with them, I'm learning. How else are you going to learn? Reading a book? No. I want to be in it. Yeah. I want to do it.
Score Rosenberg podcast, another jewel.
Dropped.
No, I mean, you can't sneak these things by me because I want to make sure, number one, my listeners or my viewers understand when there's something profound said.
Yeah.
So let's just reiterate that point.
Right.
You can't get it by reading a book.
No.
Be
Gotta
in
do
it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guest that was here, and actually it was Carlton, and he said, "Get out of the boat."
Yeah. Jump in the water. Jump in the water. You have to.
So talking about jumping in the water, there's a record that you mentioned you got done, which was On the Way to Queens.
Yeah, on
right?
the way.
Yeah,
to the studio.
Yeah. What was the name of that record?
Together Forever.
Together Forever. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that in the Peanut Gallery, actually in our studio tonight,
Yeah, my best friend, Nick.
Nick?
He was
shout out to Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, big shout out to Nick.
Nick was next to me writing it for me, yeah.
Your penmanship was appreciated, my friend.
Immaculate.
Yeah, because you were able to go back and read it. I'm glad it wasn't me in the car because I was told
a little bumpy.
Yeah, it was bananas. But I want to go back. I want to play that record real quick.
Okay.
So why don't you intro that record as we were to sing?
Okay, this is Together Forever, also with King Bo Bands and Granddaddy Trig. This one also, again, about my life. A lot of times people want to gas you up, tell you all that, and at the same time, other people, they'll be jealous of that and they'll try to bring you down. So you'll hear that in my hook right there.
A song full of jewels. Score Rosenberg podcast. Violet Haze. Bomb.
Together forever, me and you, babe. Right around the tones, going forget all away. Cause I got this paper, and I got these keys. You can keep it if you promise you ain't gonna leave. All I wanted was some time from ya. Cause you know I do it time for ya. Come on, baby, let your soul be free. Got me crazy on my mind.
From day one, we was unified. It's been you and I. You might do or die till the day that we crucified. Just knowing that I can count on you. When I'm counting it out, when it's time to let this money talk, these broke niggas couldn't sound it out. You can have all my time. You need me, baby, just call my line. If I ain't with you, I'm on my grind. Just happy that I can call you mine. For my lady, I'm quick to splurge everything. His and hers, everything. I mean, crimson furs, anything. She look like I wifed up when I come
Score
around.
Rosenberg podcast coming in with this. Wow. I am very impressed with how multifaceted your music is. And I have to say this, this is a first on the podcast where we have such a talented artists across all genres. Because we've had some very talented artists here, and everybody has been here, as I said before. The premise of the show is that everybody is a superstar. Mm-hmm. However, I gotta tell you, your talents vocally are fascinating.
Thank you.
And I'm so honored to be a part of your movement right now. Thank you for being so open-minded and open-hearted, for being here.
Of course.
And for sharing this. So as we get ready to wrap, we've listened to the influence your mom has had on you. Mm-hmm. I want to give a big shout out to mom again, because she probably is going to be like, wow. Yeah, big shout out to mom. Yeah, what's her name? Sandy. Yeah, big shout out to Sandy. And the exposure you've had, the traveling you've had. So here we are coming to the end of this podcast. Mm-hmm. And I always ask my guests these questions. Mm-hmm. You have the ability to make two impacts on this world. what would those be?
Okay. So let me just say, I'm not starting, but I'm part of this nonprofit organization that's starting. It's called Sounds of Tomorrow. We're partners with Express Newark, and we're about to be partners with Rutgers University. And it's basically a hub for all, the youth, all young artists trying to make their dream come alive. So in there, we're going to have choreography, we're going to have film editing, we're going to have rapping, we're going to have songwriting, we're going to have singing, we're going to have everything under the sun. It's a big hub for everybody to come and get the kind of education and help that they need to go further with their dream. So that's one thing that I want to do, which is keep teaching and keep, instilling these positive values into these kids, because we have no idea how much negative things they're hearing, and it just influences their life, and we just need those people around to just remind them, there's good in the world. You can write about good and it can still be a hit. You don't have to write about drinking and smoking and crashing your car and robbing this one, shooting that one. You can write about your life, what you're going through, and I bet you it's going to make just as much money, if not more, because more people will relate.
Score Rosenberg podcast.
Yeah.
Violet Haze. Wow. I am lost for words here. Powerful. It's an honor to meet you. And one of the things I will take away from this podcast is your thrive to serve. And that nonprofit, could you please mention that again?
Yes. It's called Sounds of Tomorrow. Look it up. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be right out of Newark. Wonderful things happening.
And I would like to, even in this moment, extend support from the Score Rosenberg podcast team and the production team here. We would love to be a part of that.
We would love to have you. Thank you so much.
To offer that. So as we get ready to close on this, Score Rosenberg podcast, Score Rosenberg Radio, Violet Haze, classic hit. We're going to thank you so much for tuning in. Score Rosenberg podcast 1.